Annex A Control 5.15. Access Control Official Title. And I want you to hear how plain it is. Access Control, 2 words. And underneath those 2 words sits the single most common way. Small companies quietly fail an audit while feeling great about themselves. Here's the scenario. It's a Tuesday. Dave, who is your second engineer and also somehow your support desk and also the person who renews the domain, gets a message from a new starter in sales. She can't see the customer database. She needs it for a call in 10 minutes. Dave is a good person. Dave wants to help. So Dave gives her admin because admin definitely works. Admin always works. That's the beauty of admin. Nobody removes it, ever. That's the whole story. That's the control. So let's do the actual requirement, because I want you to have it right. Annex A Control 5.15 says rules to control physical and logical access to information and other associated assets shall be established and implemented based on business and information security requirements. Go through that slowly. Rules established, implemented, physical and logical, and based on business and information security requirements, which is the bit everyone skipped. Now, is this new in the 2022 version? No, it's a merge. The older standard split this across a couple of controls, and the 2022 revision consolidated them into one. So if you're coming from the old set, you're not learning something new, you're being asked to stop scattering it. Right, here's the thing I actually care about. This control is a policy control. It is not a technology control. It sits above the machinery. Look at what's underneath it. Annex A Control 5.16 is identity management. That's who exists. Annex A Control 5.17 is authentication information. That's how they prove it. Annex A Control 5.18 is access rights. That's provisioning, review, and removal. 3 mechanisms, 3 sets of moving parts. Annex A Control 5.15 is the thing that decides what those mechanisms are supposed to be doing, because a mechanism without a rule is just a lever. Anyone can pull it. Dave pulled it. And the 2 principles that live in here, the 2 you have to be able to say out loud, are least privilege and need to know. They're not the same thing, and people mush them together constantly. Least privilege is about power. What can this person do? The minimum required to do the job. Need to know is about visibility. What can this person see? Only the information the role actually requires. You can have one without the other, and it's ugly both ways. A person with view-only access to every single customer record has least privilege and no need to know. Congratulations. You've built a beautifully locked door onto a room with no walls. So what does the control actually want from you? It wants an access control policy, a real one. Not 400 words of access shall be appropriate. Appropriate, lovely word, means nothing. What it wants is rules that let a human being make a decision without guessing. That means who authorizes access by role, what the default is, and the default should be nothing. How access maps to job function rather than to individual charm. How privileged access is treated differently because it must be. Access changes on role change, not just on leaving. And physical too, because this control says physical. Your server cupboard, your office door, your archive box of onboarding forms with everybody's personal data in it. That's in scope. The standard doesn't care that it's a cupboard. Here's my honest caveat, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I'm not a certified lead auditor. I can't tell you what any specific auditor will accept on any specific day. What I can tell you is what falls apart in the real world repeatedly, in ways you can predict from your armchair. Failure mode 1. Everyone's an admin, and I don't mean maliciously. I mean it happened by accretion. You were 4 people. Everyone needed everything. It was fine, it was fast, it was correct at the time. Then you were 14. Nobody made a decision to give 14 people root. There was never a meeting. It just stayed. Growth doesn't revoke anything. Growth only adds. Failure mode 2. Access granted for convenience and never removed. This is Dave's Tuesday. The temporary grant is the most permanent object in your company. It outlives the project, it outlives the client, it outlives Dave. 6 months later, there's an account with production access belonging to someone who now works somewhere else entirely. And the only reason you find out is because you're doing the review you should have been doing all along. Which is Annex A Control 5.18, by the way. But 5.18 can't help you if 5.15 never said what the rule was. Failure mode 3, and this one's sneakier. You wrote a lovely policy, genuinely good, and your systems disagree with it completely. The policy says access is role-based and reviewed quarterly. Reality is a spreadsheet from last March and a shared login called team at something. That gap? That's the finding. An auditor doesn't need to be clever to spot it. They need to pick one person and one system and follow the thread. That's it. That's the whole technique. Now let me tell you what I don't want you to do, because I see this and it makes me want to lie down. Do not gold plate this. You are a small company. You do not need a role matrix with 300 entries and a bespoke access governance platform with a dashboard that nobody looks at. What could possibly go wrong? You need a short policy that's actually true. A defined set of roles that matches how you really work. A rule that privileged access is separately approved, and a review you genuinely do. Small and honest beats, enormous and fictional. Every time the auditor is looking for evidence that this operates, not evidence that you own a template. And this connects outward, not just downward. Annex A Control 5.9 on inventory of information and other associated assets, because you cannot control access to things you haven't listed. Annex A Control 5.12 on classification of information, because need to know is meaningless without knowing what's sensitive. Annex A Control 8.2 on privileged access rights, which is where admin gets treated with the suspicion it deserves. Annex A Control 8.3 on information access restriction, the technical enforcement end of it. Your statement of applicability is going to reference this one a lot, and that's correct. It's load-bearing. So here's my dare, and it's cheap and it takes 20 minutes. Pick your most sensitive system, the one with the customer data in it. Right now, today, list every single account that has administrative access to it, not from memory, from the actual system. Then, next to each name, write one sentence explaining why that person needs it for their job. If you can't write the sentence, you've found your problem. If the list is longer than you guessed, you've found your problem. And if there's a name on there and you have to ask someone who that even is, then you already know what Annex A Control 5.15 is for, and you've known since the moment you started the exercise. Go and count them. I'll wait.